In the beginning, there was nothing but darkness and chaos. But from that darkness and chaos, the four gods emerged. They were the creators of the world, and they were determined to bring order and light to the void. The first god, Ariel, the goddess of righteousness, strength, and compassion, created the earth and the sky. She shaped the mountains and the valleys, the rivers and the seas. She created the plants and the animals, and she breathed life into them. And finally, she created humanity, the most perfect of all her creations. She believed that humanity was superior to all other forms of life and that they were meant to rule over the earth.
The second god, Zoltar, the god of greed, wealth, and happiness, created fire and the sun. He gave humanity the power to harness fire and use it to create warmth and light. He also gave them the desire for wealth and happiness, so that they would strive to improve their lives. He believed that the pursuit of wealth and happiness was the key to a fulfilling life and that humanity should strive to accumulate as much of it as possible.
The third god, Oromia, the god of ice, magic, and wisdom, created the oceans and the stars. He gave humanity the power of magic and the ability to understand the mysteries of the universe. He believed that wisdom and learning were the keys to understanding the world and that all sentient beings were worthy of life and respect.
The fourth god, Vane, the god of vengeance, hatred, and the night, created the wind and the darkness. She gave humanity the power of hatred and the desire for vengeance. She believed that the strong should rule over the weak and that the weak should be punished for their weakness.
But not all beings were content with the creation. The darkness that birthed the gods also contained terrors. The demons raged and lay waste to the gods' creations.
The gods' battle with the demons was a fierce and epic struggle that lasted for eons. The demons, also known as the deep terrors of reality, were ancient and powerful beings that threatened to destroy the world and plunge it back into darkness and chaos. Ariel led the charge against the demons. She wielded her sword with incredible skill and power, cutting down hordes of demons with each strike. Her shield, imbued with her holy power, protected her and her allies from the demons' dark magic. She fought with courage and determination, never backing down or faltering in the face of the demons' might.
Zoltar fought alongside Ariel, using his mastery of fire to burn the demons to ashes. He summoned massive pillars of flames that engulfed the demons and left them writhing in agony. He also used his wealth and treasures to bribe and corrupt some demons to turn against their own kind.
Oromia fought with his powerful magic and knowledge of the arcane. He summoned blizzards of ice that froze the demons in their tracks, making them vulnerable to the gods' attacks. He also used his knowledge of the demons' weaknesses to outsmart and outmaneuver them, always staying one step ahead of their dark machinations.
Vane fought with the ferocity and hatred that her name implies. She wielded his sword with deadly precision, cutting down any demon that dared to stand in his way. She also summoned dark and powerful curses that sapped the demons' strength and vitality. She fought with a single-minded determination to destroy the demons, driven by his unquenchable thirst for vengeance.
The battle was long and grueling, but in the end, the gods emerged victorious. The demons were banished to the abyss, and the world was safe from their malevolent influence. The gods had saved the world from destruction, and their victory was celebrated throughout the land. With the demons defeated, the gods turned their attention to their creations. They saw that the elves and orcs had also come into existence and they debated on how to deal with them. Ariel believed that humanity was superior to all other forms of life and that they were meant to rule over the earth. She believed that humanity was her greatest creation, and that they had a divine right to be the dominant species on the planet. She saw the other races as inferior and believed that they should be subjugated to the will of humanity. She also believed that her people should be protected from the dangers of the world and that they should be guided by her wisdom and guidance.
On the other hand, Oromia believed that all sentient beings were worthy of life and respect. He believed that all races were equal and that none should be considered superior or inferior to the others. He saw humanity, elves, and orcs as different expressions of the same divine spark, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. He believed that all races should be allowed to live in harmony, free to pursue their own destiny and develop their own culture. He also believed that all living beings should have access to the same knowledge and opportunities, and that wisdom and learning should be shared equally among all.
Vane believed in the principle of strength above all else. She believed that the strong should rule, regardless of their birth or race. She saw all races, including humanity, elves, and orcs, as potential contenders for power and believed that only the strongest should survive. She didn't care if the humans were the dominant force or not, as long as they were strong enough to hold their power.
As for Zoltar, he had a more pragmatic approach to the other races. He saw the races as potential sources of wealth and offerings, and he didn't have any strong opinion on their status in the world.
The conflict between the four gods was a long and bitter struggle that lasted for centuries. It began as a disagreement over the status and treatment of the other races, but it soon escalated into a full-blown war. Auriel and Oromir, who held opposing views on the issue, were the main protagonists of the conflict. Auriel, who believed in the superiority of humanity, saw Oromir's beliefs as a threat to her power and the dominance of her people. She rallied her followers to fight against Oromir and his followers, believing that she could crush them once and for all. Oromir, on the other hand, saw Auriel's beliefs as unjust and discriminatory. He rallied his followers to fight for equality and justice, believing that he could defeat Auriel and her followers.
Vane saw the conflict as an opportunity to gain power and influence. She believed that the two gods' followers were weak, and that she could use the conflict to strengthen her own followers and gain more followers from the other races. Zoltar saw the conflict as a nuisance that got in the way of his pursuit of wealth and happiness. He didn't want to get involved in the conflict and preferred to stay neutral.
The conflict lasted for centuries, and it caused destruction and suffering throughout the land. Cities were razed to the ground, and countless lives were lost. The followers of Auriel and Oromir were locked in a bitter struggle, and neither side was able to gain a decisive victory. In the end, the conflict ended in a stalemate, with neither having the upper hand.